today is lemon drizzle cake, coming to you from Queen Alfred Cakes. Very simple, 5 ingredients. We'll give you the recipe right at the end in full. First thing to do is to preheat the oven. Turn the oven on before you put the cake mixture in. And this is a fan oven, and I'm putting it at exactly 170 degrees. So we're going to start with 225 grams of margarine. I use margarine, not butter, when I'm making the sponge, but I always use butter for any icing for the flavour. The margarine should be room temperature, and if you live in a cold house like I do, you can bung it in the microwave for a few seconds to make your life a lot easier. So 225 grams, same amount of granulated sugar. Lots of recipes say caster sugar, but I always use granulated, it works fine. So it's nice and soft. So then you can add the zest of 1 lemon. The zest is just the very outside. Nearly there. So just keep going round and round. I normally use an electric mixer, which you can use, but if you haven't got one, spoon is absolutely fine, which is what I'm using today. And if you can see that coming together like that. And it will go paler colour, which is the right thing. And you should do this maybe for a couple of minutes. There, that's perfect, sort of light and fluffy. So the next ingredient is 4 eggs, and I do bother to crack them into a separate bowl, because if you get eggshell, like I have, into the egg, you can fish it out. Don't use your fingers, use a half of the eggshell, good tip, it comes out much more easily. So you can put them all in together. I know recipes go on about adding the eggs one at a time. Well, I can't be bothered. They all go in together, and I make hundreds of cakes every week, and they all seem to work okay. I'm all for speed. So those are all fine, no shell in there, all going together. And then you'll get a very sort of curdly, rather alarming mixture, and you'll think, oh God, what have I done? Well, that's absolutely fine. Curdling is no problem. It will all come right when you add the flour. I don't know if you can see that. Scrape it down a bit. Now I'll probably change to a spatula at this stage. And that's good enough. So that's a sort of 30-second mix is all you need. Next ingredient, 225 grams of self-raising flour. Put it all in together. And sort of fold it or beat it, whatever, doesn't matter. Keep turning the bowl so you get all the edges in. And you can see it's beginning to look like normal cake mixture. All the curdling will disappear. Nearly there. That's how easy it is. Don't overmix, that's fine, as long as all the flour is incorporated, that's all you need. That's perfect, that should work really well. So one of the most important things when making a cake, which is never mentioned in any recipe I've ever seen or in the videos on YouTube, is to use parchment paper, not greaseproof paper. This means you never ever have to grease a tin, and it means your cake will turn out beautifully without sticking, without being greasy on the bottom. Don't use greaseproof. Make sure it's parchment. They look identical. So you don't need to buy a cake tin. You can use, this is my chicken roasting tin, and I put some parchment in there and cut some strips, and that's absolutely fine. That's what I'll use today. But if you've got a cake tin, this is the sort of old-fashioned, what I would call 2-pan tin. Again, you get these in supermarkets, and you will get the parchment papers, cake liners I think they're called, to fit exactly in, and they're fine, and that will fit a 2-pound, that mixture, a 2-pan tin perfectly. But I'm going to make it in this today, and you can just tip it in and spread it around a little bit, and you're done. You don't have to be too precise, it will all spread into the tin more or less on its own. Comme ça, and in it goes. Straight in. 45 minutes. Now the biggest mistake that people make is to get worried and they peek into the oven at 40 minutes or 44 minutes. Don't do it. Make yourself wait until the bell goes. If you even do a small peep, the hot air escapes and your cake will fall flat, and then you'll think you'll be no good at cake making, but you will be. So just trust the oven. 45 minutes is the absolute minimum. So whilst it's cooking, we're going to do the drizzly bit. So it's your lemon that's had the zest taken off, cut in half, and a squeezer of some sort. I do sieve the juice because you get the tiny pips out into a bowl, like that. And it gives you about a good tablespoon and a bit of juice. And then how much sugar, I don't really know until it looks right, which isn't very helpful. So at least quite a lot of sugar, probably 1, 2, 3, that's 4 dessert spoons. That's not enough yet. So let's go for 5, 6. Obviously it's going to always be a guide because it depends on how juicy your lemon is. But that's pretty good. Should be sort of very sugary, but sort of that's the sort of consistency. Just the other thing I need to mention is that if you haven't got a fan oven, up the temperature to 185, again for 50 minutes, and it should be fine. So the 45 minutes is up, the bell's going. I want to show you how to see if it's ready, because if it's not ready you need to shut the oven door quickly. So have in your hand something to open, to take the cake out with, and a skewer or a sharp knife, and just open the oven a little bit and poke it, and if it comes out, that's absolutely clean, no mixture sticking to it, it's ready. Now if there's any mixture on there, quickly shut the oven door and give it 5 minutes more and it'll be fine. Final tip really, don't try and take it out of the tin until it's almost cold. So in one swift movement, there we go, onto the board, ready to be drizzled. So before you drizzle the lemon juice and the sugar over, I make some sort of holes. Just use a knife, or if this is quite a thick skewer, and I'm so I've got the cake on a slight slant so that you can hopefully see it a bit better, but it means it's all trickling down one way. But you'll be doing it hopefully flat. But I tip it on and then I use the back of the spoon swiftly to coat it. And it doesn't matter if it goes down the sides, it should go down the sides really, all the better. There we go, all done. Absolutely yummy. So there we have delicious lemon drizzle, all those slices just from that one small mixture. So I hope you'll feel encouraged to give it a go. Just remember, if you're making it in a cake tin, 2-pound cake tin, 50 minutes, don't open the oven. If you're making it in your own sort of flat roasting dish with a greater footprint, 45 minutes will be enough. Good luck.